much has your recruiting philosophy maybe changed or if at all since you came to Nebraska after a couple seasons? What have you seen in the Big Ten West?
I don't know if our recruiting philosophy's changed. We knew right away we need to be bigger and more physical and more athletic and faster. We do our best to recruit those types of kids. We got to make sure we recruit the types of kids that are going to flourish in Lincoln and in the state of Nebraska too. For the most part, we've done a good job with that. We made a few mistakes and kids that aren't in the program anymore. But I've been pleased with the work our staff's done. There's no doubt we have more talent in the building right now by far than we've had since I've been at Nebraska. So it's our job as coaches to get them ready.
What you and Trev understand about what makes Nebraska unique, and maybe what's something that you
one day by day, I've been working everything.
I'll give you one. Nebraska's always been an innovator. Way before I even played in Nebraska, Nebraska was at the cutting edge of strength and conditioning, was at the cutting edge of nutrition, academic support, life skills, helping guys get jobs after football, working in the community. There's ways right now that we can be innovative again. I need to be on the same page with administration that's making some of those big picture decisions. Otherwise, I can have as many good ideas for some of those things as possible, and we can't get anything done. And being aligned with Trev is going to help us hopefully be out in front of some of these issues.
Where's the roster made the most gains, in your opinion? Where do you feel most comfortable as far as your depth chart goes?
Yeah, that tough question, Sip. I think we're better almost everywhere, but we got to go out and show it and earn it. I mentioned on the podium the offensive line. I love this core group of offensive linemen and their attitude.
I want to say something. Mess up.
I'm not going to say that. Sorry. It's interesting that that group, for the most part, is young. We've got Sichterman and Bando and some guys that have been around for a while, Hickson. But the core group of guys with Corcoran and Ben Hart and Juergens and Piper, we're still young there, but we're young and experienced there. And I think that's a group that can make the former Pipeline guys proud. I think they have the right kind of demeanor and the right skill set. Receivers, another one. We don't have a lot of returning production, but again, I think it's a talented group, and looking forward to see them molded. Feel great about our defensive backfield coming back. Cam Taylor-Britt and Deontay and Markel and a lot of young guys. Don't want to mention them all, but a lot of young guys. And I think overall as a team, our depth's gotten better, which should help on offense, defense, and special teams. So there's been improvements, but none of that matters. We got to go out and play well. And I think this group's locked in on that.
Hey, Scott, how excited were you to hear Ben was going to go ahead and come back for an additional senior season when he said that? Was that some weight off your shoulder at that position?
Definitely. I feel great about our depth on the D-line, too. I go out and watch a little bit of the summer workouts, and from Ben Stilley to Casey Rogers to Ty Robinson to and I keep going on down the line. Damian Daniels, definitely. We got good players there, we got depth there, and we got good kids there. And his addition to the team with him staying is a big deal for us, and really all those super seniors. It says a lot about how they feel about Nebraska and Lincoln and our football program that they would come back and play another year with us. So Stilley and JoJo and Markel and Deontay and Will Honus. I know Colin Miller would have been back for another year too if he hadn't had an injury last year. So we got great relationships with those guys, and I want to go to battle with them, and they wanted to go battle with us. Yeah, both kids have been really good for us. I think Oliver's got a chance to play a huge role at receiver. Had a really good spring for us, played quite a bit last year. When we did testing this winter, he was one of the best athletes on our football team. that's really started to transfer over to the football field. So we're excited about him. Ezra's going to be in the mix too. So both kids have been good additions, and both have been really good kids in our program. No, Omar's dealt with some off the field things that I haven't talked about, and really I think all Omar needs is consistency. His talent and God-given ability will take care of the rest of it. I'm really happy with where he is right now.
Damian Daniels, with him being a Navy SEALs guy, is he emerging as a starter and as a leader in his position?
Well, Damian Jackson's the Navy SEAL.
Sorry, Damian Jackson. Yeah, sorry.
Damian Daniels is a Special Forces eater. And going to be really good D lineman for us. Damian Jackson's an unbelievable leader. You wouldn't have accomplished what he accomplished in life without having something special about you. And I think his presence has been a big improvement for us. He makes everybody around him better. He holds people accountable. We're lucky to have him. And I don't doubt that he'll find a way to get on the football field. Yeah, I was as surprised as anyone else. I can't thank Bill Moose enough. A lot of the things that we've talked about indirectly that I think needed to be improved in the athletic department. Bill made some hard decisions and really took us quite a way down the road to operating and doing things the way that we need to win. I think Trev's inherited an athletic department that's better because Bill was here, and I'm grateful to Bill. I'll always be friends with Bill. I'm also really excited that Trev Alberts is here.
As my coach, very personable. It's just outside of football, like whatever I do, whatever I ask.
Can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear a dang thing.
Yeah.
It's not just a football relationship. It runs with
See, I didn't hear one word there.
Special teams. How do you like it?
Yeah, part of being better on special teams that I think is getting a little better performance from our specialists. Another part is buy-in from our student athletes. They're going to be on coverage units. I want that to be competitive.
We didn't want that. Especially me,
we really emphasized that this spring, and I saw a lot of improvement. Really glad that Mike Dawson is going to be leading the charge there. He's been a special teams coordinator in a lot of places. I like what we're doing on those teams. Special teams can win you games. Unfortunately, the last few years, special teams has lost us a few games or made a couple wins a lot harder than they should have been. And I think the players now are bought into how important that is and excited to make sure that those improvements are made.
Secondary. He's going to bring leadership. He's going to bring swag. I love playing Rockets. We got a good connection.
I think the players are as confident as they've been since I've been in Nebraska, and a lot closer as a unit than they've been since I've been in Nebraska.
For me, I mean, we got batteries. Like, I like him. I like getting him better. He gets me better. He's just real crafty.
There's been a lot of them. Our leadership's better than it's been, Sam. A lot of the super seniors that came back that we've talked about have been leading the charge there. Damian Jackson's been leading the charge there. Adrian, Austin Allen, Travis Vokalek, even new guys like Samari. You earn your confidence. You earn your confidence because you put in a lot of hard work and you believe in yourself. And then you gain even more confidence when you have success. That's the piece we still have to get.
Yeah, of course.
We got to have some success so our kids believe it even more. I told these guys there's not one game we're going to take the field this year where we don't have a chance to go out and be successful. And I know they believe that. Certainly some success will help them believe it even more.
Scott, you brought Austin Allen here. I think Sean Beckton said in the spring he thinks Austin with their work could be even a Sunday guy at some point in his career. what can he be for your offense, and how have you seen him grow as a player?
I'm excited about our young tight ends, but I'll tell you, Austin Allen and Travis Vokalek, both I think have a career in football. I love where we are at that position and what those two are going to give us in the run game and in the passing game. Those two are going to be a key part of what we're doing on the football field, and they've both been great leaders for us as well.
Talk about finding guys that just care about Nebraska, care about the side of the helmet.
I would say, I mean, they're both two talented guys.
I guess, like,
You said,
when you look at his development,
yeah.
much of it is driven by just his care for the place around him.
I think.
What I appreciate about guys like Austin is he's been through the whole thing. You know, he was recruited before I got here, even though we recruited him when I was at Central Florida. So I've known Austin since he was in high school. Aurora's not far from Wood River. Austin's seen a lot of different things, been through some struggles in his 3 years, and I think that gives him a determination to make sure that while he's in Nebraska, this thing goes the way that he wants it to. And,
I mean, it's just Phil.
And he's pushing himself. He's pushing everybody else.
Each guy does well.
He can want to be a
well.
leader, and that's great.
Play within your technique.
He want to be a captain, and that's great. My guess is the team will vote him one as well because that's the kind of leadership that he's given us.
What do you see in Allen and Vokalek that you think they could make this a profession?
Well, first of all, stand next to him, Seth. Both of them are two of you. They're both really skilled pass catchers. Both have become really good run blockers for us. We're always looking for complete players that can do anything that you ask somebody at that position to do in an offense. And both of those guys, we can leave on the field and call anything that we have. I'm not sure I'd trade my two tight ends for many around the country, if any. I got a ton of confidence in those two guys.
I think it just shows where they come from. They both come from Detroit.
You know, it's been an interesting few years, particularly last year with the things going on. But even back to my first game that got canceled at Nebraska. You know, in some ways, I think we've done a lot of the right things. In other ways, I think there were some things that we needed to get into the league to learn.
We got a duffel bag. I think there's a speaker
the
in there.
game is a little different in this league than other leagues I've coached in. I've talked about that a little. I'm used to playing in games where we'll get 95 snaps of offensive game. In this league, there's games where we get 60. Because of that, you got to be a lot more efficient with your snaps. Fast and frantic and wasting a play here and there is fine when you're explosive offense and you get 90 snaps. In this league, teams are going to keep the ball away from you. So there's not major adjustments that we need to make, but I think there's ways that we've learned that we can be smarter with what we're doing. And this is a good league. There's good coaches on every team. It's a deep league. You can win every week. You can lose every week. And usually there's a small margin of error. And those are some of the details that I think we're really addressing this offseason.
Coach, what are your in-season rules on name, image, and likeness as far as like what guys are going to be allowed
I just give you my
when they
top
leave the facility?
So I'm gonna say Drake. He's on like another.
Yeah, we haven't written a bunch of rules, Sean. I just don't want it to be a distraction. So we're trying to give guys an opportunity to have it be organized as well as we can. I need to protect them as well. I'm hearing stories from other universities, particularly in another sport, where some kids are approached by agents, people trying to get them to do deals. There could be a lot of distractions. There could be the wrong people talking to our kids. So hopefully we can find a way to protect them to some degree while allowing them to take advantage of NIL. Certainly anything that's said outside the building, I want them to treat it as if it's a press conference. They're always going to be representing the University of Nebraska. So we're going to have some simple rules about that. Mostly, we're going to try to help them by protecting them and make sure that they're being steered in the right direction by whoever's helping them take advantage of NIL.
Will there be any ramifications for guys getting playing times if they falter on any name, image, or likeness stuff? And there any legal type stuff?
I'm not allowed to have anything to do with the deals guys get on NIL. I don't want anything to do with that. I want to coach a team. And whatever happens away from football, I hope our guys can capitalize on NIL. When they're in the building, I'm their coach, and that's the way I want to keep it.
He makes plays. He has a strong arm. He knows the offense. And I think through camp, he's just going to keep getting better and better.
No, I don't pay a lot of attention to that. You have to fill me in.
Just keep listening to Sean and just being ready when you're home.
Not taking a snap. It's approaching $1 million in NIL deals already.
Everybody gonna have
It
to
seemed
see.
really high.
I think he can play both.
Everybody else is
His
talking
ball
about.
skills. I know, like he has great ball skills. He knows how to high point a ball. He just has to learn the little nuances of receiver. And
I don't know if he's making close to $1 million. Good for him. That's a lot of pressure on a young
he
man.
can do whatever he puts his mind to. He's a special type of athlete. He can jump out the gym. He works hard.
Just Adrian's sole idea to maybe sling down, or is that something he expressed to you? Or is that something you talked about? Because he's talked about it on his own podcast. That was really important. To get back to speed, maybe he had. So was that?
I would say two people, Keandre Lambert. Who I
Yeah,
know
we
is a
talked to him about it.
Daniel Jordan.
He's a really talented kid. He has as good an arm as there is in our league. Certainly one of the better athletes on our team and one of the better athletes at quarterback probably in the country. He needs to be able to capitalize on all those God-given talents, and being able to run the football and be fast is one of them. I think some of that's probably intentional, and some of it's probably just he's not that he hadn't worked hard before, but he's really kicked it into gear this offseason, and I've been thrilled with the effort that he's put in. Like I said, I think he's in a really good place. He's kind of weathered the highs and lows of the bright spotlight of being the quarterback in Nebraska. I think he's comfortable in his own skin and with who he is, and I think he's confident, and I'm looking forward to working with him.
He's just a hard worker. He has a bright future, and I can't wait to see
He
it.
doesn't show up every day that he used to. How much do you think he's been forgotten by media, by maybe draft experts about the ability he has to play at the next level?
I mean, both of them guys fit in the room. I already knew AJ a little bit.
I think he's starting off in the right place right now, and I think he has a great opportunity to go earn any accolades and attention that he can get, and I think he can do it.
I'm curious, real well.
Talk about the Alabama
Easy
quarterback and
transition.
that amount of
Scrappy
money
guy.
puts pressure on a kid.
Yeah, you can play both
Expand
inside
on
and
that,
outside,
what kind
which
of
brings
pressure are you
extreme depth in our room, which is always good.
I don't know. If somebody gave me $750,000, I'd feel like I needed to
from top to
perform
bottom,
pretty
sure.
well. Particularly when you're 19 years old. I think it's great for student athletes that are going to be able to capitalize on this. There's going to be a million problems that come along with it that people aren't expecting, and pressure reform might be one of them.
I mean, he's able to play all three positions.
There's going to be a lot of other ones that we've talked through to try to anticipate issues that could come up with our student athletes. But anytime we're getting away from the purity of just college sports and cheerleaders and alumni and rah-rah, and the game is changing. And I think in a lot of ways those are going to be good changes, but there's going to be some pitfalls too. And we'll try to help our players anticipate those.
Put that much, you know what I mean, on the squat bar and do.
Scott, is there any players that from last year to this year that you have seen that have took those leaps, into a better category that you see, a couple of guys that you say, hey, well, look forward for this person and this person. So I'm seeing a lot out of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of players on our team that just physically look better than they did a year ago. If I had to pick one, I'm really excited to see Nick Henrich play football this year at middle linebacker. Kid that we had a lot of confidence in when we recruited him. Struggled through a few injuries early on. Had a great spring.
I would say he brings he's a character.
He and Kolarvik and Reimer are going to have to be our lead dogs at middle linebacker. Would have been nice to have Will Honus there with some experience, Colin Miller with some experience. Both those guys have bled and sweat for the program. Beyond those guys, we're looking for guys to step up. Anxious to see what Garrett Snodgrass and the rest of the guys can do. to add depth to that position. But really looking forward to watching those middle linebackers play because of the improvements that I've seen in spring ball and off the field.
Why?
I
can't really speak too much on it. But I know the main.
Larry's a good athlete, great kid, really smart, picked up our scheme fast, tested really well when we tested, again, to an elite level. So looking forward to it. I know anytime a kid's played at a place like Northern Iowa where I coached and gets a chance at this level, he's already achieved a lot, probably has a chip on his shoulder to show that he can do it at this level. So we're going to give him an opportunity.
Outside linebacker in Iowa too, since you've got him and Nick played outside linebackers both. You've got guys as inside linebacker that are that athletic, kick outside. I guess what kind of advantages is that?
I think it's a little.
It helps. The more athletic you are, the better. Jojo Doman looks great right now, and excited to have him continue his career. Can't wait to see what he can do. Guys like Javen Wright and others are backing him up. Isaac Gifford had a really good spring for us. We can definitely run better at linebacker right now than we have run before because of the athleticism of those guys.
Did you feel like Cam Jurgens sort of came out of the snap problem issue as the season ended last year? And how do you feel about him, and what are the expectations for him?
I mean, we definitely want to come out.
The snap issue hopefully is taken care of. You got to remember with Cam, he was a tight end coming out of Beatrice, and I looked at him once during his freshman year and told him I thought he was an NFL center, and it took about 6 conversations with him to convince him, and we got him moved. He had a series of injuries. It's all still kind of new to him. Not anymore, though, and I know he has been working on that really hard. We've gotten him some technique improvement. Not only were the fumbles an issue, but just the inconsistency of the snaps affected the way our quarterbacks play. It's really hard to read somebody at the line of scrimmage if you're having to take your eye off that and reach up or down for a football, and it breaks the rhythm that the quarterback needs. So consistency there is going to be a huge improvement for us.
Inside and outside, he's real versatile. He's a weapon. Harrison Wallace. I seen him. We was at where we live, and everyone plays basketball and things like that. He's like 3'6". Like I wish I.
Deontay's special to me.
I know I'm talking right now, but he's like 3'6".
We recruited him early on.
Stuff I've never seen.
He's had kind of a tough journey. He's one of the old guys now. When I first got him on campus, I couldn't talk to him much because he wouldn't say much. He's one of my favorite guys to be around now. Love seeing him and talking to him. He's a father now. He's a good father. He's a good person. He's a great player and a good teammate. I expect he would have been farther along in his career had he not gotten hurt game 1 a couple years ago, and we might not still have him. But I'm thrilled that he's back on the football team, and he's going to be a big part of our secondary and our team.
What a difference it will make for you guys on game day. You guys tried to generate your own energy last year. Obviously, a team that,
I mean, it means the world. And also, I graduated in the spring, so that was the main thing.
This might be a little controversial, but I've kind of said I thought home games last year were almost a disadvantage for us because we're so used to the sea of red and the fans and the energy. And it was almost depressing going out on the field with nobody in there.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
It almost drained our energy because it was always there and provided for us, and kids were used to that. We got the best fans in the country. I can't wait to see them again. I know they can't wait to be back. Hopefully we give them a lot to cheer about.
But shoot, I don't think my favorite fast food is Chick-fil-A.
What?
Lifetime free nuggets.
Well, we're here in Indianapolis. If I could take their pass rushers, I'd probably be happy.
Something like that.
You always want better at every position, but don't lead with that. Mike Dawson's done an unbelievable job with those guys. We got way more consistent play out of our defensive ends and outside linebackers than we had the first 2 years. And that group's improvement has been apparent. We got experience there now. Looking forward to seeing JoJo play and Garrett Nelson. Also, some other guys that have played sparingly. Fadarius Payne had a really good spring for us. So I think those guys are geared up to really surprise people. Again, I think Coach Doss has done an unbelievable job, and that was probably one of our Achilles heels, year 1 and year 2. Those guys played really well last year, and I expect them to be even better this year.
That's not who the team is. That would have just
two more guys.
I don't think that would have solidified the enough.
It seemed like in the spring, Greg Austin really felt like you had a real 2 deep on your O-line now. He was talking about kind of when you got here, maybe you could only play 5 or 6 guys, and then there was a gap. Do you feel like that gap has really closed in the trenches, maybe on both sides of the ball?
Can't wait to show you.
Yeah, O-line's a good example, I think, of our improved depth. I mentioned some of the guys. There's others. Brant Banks is going to compete to start and play, and we're excited about him. Nuri is going to compete to start and play, along with Sichterman and Bando and Hickson and Jurgens and Ben Hart, and, Corcoran and Piper. That group has really grown, and it's going to be competitive. I think one of the things that probably has held us back in the past is even our better players that we're starting at times could coast because they weren't getting pushed every day. That group right there, they better come to play every day because there's somebody behind them that can play.
I wouldn't blame it.
That kind of depth and competition is going to help us all over our team.